Everyone can feel cooped up in their houses from time to time, and when a pandemic like COVID forces you to stay inside for months, we can sympathize. Eventually, with travel rules slackened, people are rushing to get out of their homes and enjoy some much-needed time off. Aliza Alder from Arizona was one of those people. She couldn't contain her excitement as she landed in Honolulu. She was documenting her vacation through social media. As her transport from the airport arrived at her accommodation, she got out of the show and pulled out her many bags. She couldn't see anyone around, not surprising due to the pandemic. She did see a few concerned people peering at her through windows. What she didn't notice, however, was the look of anger on their faces. The day after she arrived, she went straight to the beach where she started swimming. Aliza loved nothing more than some swimming in the turquoise ocean. She couldn't help but smile to herself as she saw barely anybody else on the beach. It made her feel special, like she owned her own private beach. This also made taking photos for social media especially nice with no one else to be in the background. Aliza wasn't quite ready to go back to her stuffy room just yet. Instead, she decided to go to businesses that might want to hire her. She couldn't find much, but she managed to find a restaurant offering jobs. She thought it would be perfect for her to flip burgers during the day and then go out and party at night. One day after a long shift at work, she noticed a neighbor out of their room pointing at her. "You're not from around here," they barked. Obviously, she snapped back. "Why are you here?" they demanded. Alder just turned her back and went into her room. They didn't need to know her business. She shrugged it off. But every time she left for work in the morning or came back at night, the neighbor would still be watching her. It was another normal day in Honolulu, and Aliza decided she'd go to her favorite spot on the island. She'd send out another picture. She thought to herself while she looked at the camera. She knew just which friends back home would be envious of her new lifestyle. She kept taking pictures as she walked up the beach. Then she noticed someone walking towards her. She just hoped it wasn't the neighbor as they got closer. Then, when she could make them out, she realized it was actually two police officers. Alder froze in place, her phone still in hand. What was the problem? Did the neighbor report her for something? "Excuse me, ma'am. When did you get here?" "Only a few hours ago," she said with worry in her voice. "No, not the beach. When did you fly in?" Alder had to rack her muddled brain. "A few weeks ago?" The police officers stepped in closer. "We need to see your passport." Her eyes grew wide with concern. "I don't have it on me right now." Just a few moments later, and Alder was in the back of the police cruiser. The police first took her to her place to get the documents that they were after, and then they put her in front of a desk. The person behind the desk gave her a similar look to the one the neighbor had given her. The officer simply said, "You ignored the quarantine rule. You're under arrest." What? Alder sat there, mouth hanging open. She tried to argue back, but the officer said, "You were told multiple times that you have to go on a 2-week self-lockdown after you arrived." She said, "Yes, I heard, but I'm not sick." The officer replied, "It doesn't matter. Those are the travel rules in Hawaii right now." It wasn't long until Alder found herself behind bars. What happened? Aside from ignoring the state's strict travel rules, her neighbors had noticed her coming in and leaving the very next days just after her initial arrival. But that wasn't the nail in the figurative coffin. The young woman had sealed her fate on her own. All the photos she had snapped, posted, and tagged had proved she ignored the self-quarantine rule. The back and forth between her and the police got heated. But in the end, it was simply a matter of the rules are for everyone, and the girl acted as if she was exempt. She was charged with violation of the state rules and unsworn falsification to authorities. The fact that she was functioning in a job during the time made things worse. Her bail was set at $2,000. Even the state attorney general, Claire Connors, spoke up and warned that the measures in place were there to protect everyone's health. Hawaii currently has 647 infections and 17 that have passed away. It might not seem like a large number, but when you factor in the size of the area and the tourism industry, it's no wonder that they are being extra careful. There are no new details about her case,